important point. But we also want to have this motion closed. So, but I want to give as many of you as much time as possible. So I believe 3 minutes are sufficient, but then we shall continue carrying until I observe that indeed we've covered a sufficient number of you to submit on this. Because this is where you go in detail to discuss the whole nation, from your constituencies to the policy-related issues, how the president espoused them, and especially now in connection to the budget we passed that would be funding all these proposals and issues the president talked about. So the debate can resume now. Yes, procedure. Mr.
Speaker, I am raising this procedure issue under Rule 59M. Mr. Speaker, traditionally, and in this Parliament has been briefed traditionally about matters affecting colleagues. In the NRC, even smaller matters like a birth would be announced. This Parliament, Mr. Speaker, carried out investigation in the stealing of Karamoja iron sheets. Almost all the suspects were members of this House. A report last week came indicating that the DPP had dropped charges against some of the colleagues. So the point of privilege I am raising is whether this Parliament should not be briefed. Who is still a suspect? Who has survived? Because when I look at the Honorable Nakadama and Honorable Nabakova, because they are beneficiaries, I still think they are suspect. Maybe their charges have been withdrawn. So Mr. Speaker, can Parliament be briefed? Who is still a suspect? Who do we congratulate for surviving? Because that tradition, Mr. Speaker, in this Parliament has happened. That's the point of privilege I wanted to ask, because these are our colleagues. You said we should sympathize with them. The last time I raised this matter, they should also tell us if they are still on the run, or they now can sit here. Maybe that's the reason some of them are here today, tomorrow they are not here. Because I would be surprised, a person like the woman MP for Kakumiro who took 3,000 iron sheets and she is also not on the charge sheet, I will really be surprised.
Honorable colleagues, number one, this matter is sub judice under Rule 73. It's the DPP who has powers to choose who to prosecute and who not prosecute, and the reasons are theirs. Okay? That's number one. Number two, here we don't have any power as a House to require a member to come and explain themselves on any matter, and unless that member voluntarily does it under Rule 55 of our Rules of Procedure. So if there is any member who wants to be congratulated on being removed from the list of those prosecuted through a statement of personal explanation, that member will write to the Speaker and will be given space to do it. As of now, I haven't received any. Okay? So please, colleagues, if it is about this matter, it's a sub judice matter. Please. No, not on sub judice. If it's anything about this matter, Parliament debated its report and closed it. The rest, DPP is the one knows what she's doing. So I don't want us to go beyond our mandate here. So we had started moving. Honorable Jessica Babiko.
Honorable Speaker, I quite want to take this opportunity to appreciate His Excellency for the message and the address that he was well reserved and well appreciated by the country. When we discuss about the issues of the State of the Nation address, National Speaker, we must appreciate His Excellency. When you look at the health sector, much as other people don't look at in a positive way, but we must appreciate that health, we had the limited facilities. Many have gone, as much as we are having administrative units on growing here and there, but every administrative unit, as NRM government, we have in our manifesto, we have the plan to ensure every sub-county gets a health center 3. And as I talk right now, health center 2s which were existing are being upgraded into health center 3s. Health center 4s, they are being upgraded into hospitals. So the case in point is in Luwel, Kasana. I grew up, Kasana was, because I used to go to Kiwoko Hospital. I used to go there in Kiwoko. It was the health center 4. Right now it's a hospital. There are many others. So we must appreciate His Excellency the President for such effort. PDM, I want to tell you that at least with the PDM, I come from Kapian Parish in Nakodo Sub-County. At least people in my parish, individual family members are able to go to the bank and pick $1 million shillings and plus. Yes, I'm speaking from my parish where I come from. I didn't say someone else's parish, I said mine. If I mention your parish, I would be offending you. But in my parish where I come from, at least my parish members, they have been able to access the money. I have one parish where I come from. I can't come from many parishes. Right, Honorable Speaker, in my parish, at least people have been able to access money for parish model. And I have the belief and trust with this money we have allocated for parish model, many individuals will get, many parishes will get, and many districts will get. So we must appreciate His Excellency for that. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Now,
Mr. Speaker, I am moving this motion under 59(1)(n). The motion, Mr. Speaker, is to close debate. Since our colleagues have had the opportunity in Chankwans to thank the President, they are now repeating what they have been doing. I move that a question be put and we discuss other matters, because thanking the President here they have done in Chankwans.
okay. But no, just before I put for seconding, the clarification I wanted to make is that from the information I have, State of the Nation happened after Chankwan. So they couldn't have thanked him on State of the Nation, which had not yet taken place. But nevertheless, I must put a question, because that's what the law requires me to do as a presiding officer. Is the motion seconded? So, seconded by Sewanyana, by Senyonyi, by Semuju himself. So, colleagues, I now put a question that debate be closed on the motion for a resolution of Parliament to appreciate His Excellency the President for the clear and precise exposition of government policy contained in the State of the Nation address, the Parliament of the Republic of Uganda on Wednesday, 7th June 2023. Those in favor say aye, and to the contrary nay. The noise heard. So let's continue with the debate. Honorable Edakas. Honorable Azatom, then Honorable Edakas. Azatom, Honorable Azat, please. It's your time.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, and my dear colleagues. I'd like to thank the President for the State of the Nation address. Mr. Speaker, development, especially roads and bridges, are enablers for wealth creation. poverty alleviation, faster movement of goods and services, movement of ambulances for referral cases to the hospitals, movement of perishable goods, communication, as well as security. Mr. Speaker, for all this, I'd like to thank the President for the development so far achieved. However, on the other hand, the ferry services in Obongi and in Laropi in the Moyo district across the Nile often break down, and this has interrupted free movement of goods and services. Hence, there's a need for a bridge across the Nile at a place called Laropi. Mr. Speaker, the procurement process for the tarmacking of Koboko, Yumbe, Moyo Road started since 2017. And up to now, we're not seeing any results on the ground. So we are requesting for fast tracking of the procurement process, because as I talk now, Mr. Speaker, the road is unmotorable, is very muddy, very corrugated.
So are you thanking?
And thereby causing accidents. and at the same time, this will also apply to Laropi Road, Laropi Moyo Afojal Road. But there are other developments, especially the tarmacking of Kampala, Karuma, Arua, and Oraba Road. For this, I thank the President. I thank him very much. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, industrialization in any place can take place when there is power, when there is electricity. We want to thank the President for the achievements so far, where we have got a laying of poles in most of the sub-counties. However, the poles do not have the wires. There is no electricity. There are no wires, and their poles are just there rotting away. So I expect the government to fast-track the wiring of these poles so that we can have electricity extended to all the rural areas of this country. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Honorable Edaka.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I'd also like to take an... Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I think the critical issue here is we need to begin to put our money where our mouth is. We have numerous challenges as a country that we grapple with, and so spreading our resource envelope can be a challenge. But there are things that are important. There are things that are critical. Healthcare is important. These hospitals, the bulk of the work therein is done by these interns. As we speak today, Right Honorable Speaker, many hospitals have gone to mine in my area, Naguru Referral Hospital, and that's the story of many others. The few doctors who are there are overburdened. You find people who are stuck in the corridors with patients. These doctors will tell you, I have been alert for the past 48 hours without sleep. They will collapse and die. Why? Because the interns are not in place. We need to facilitate them. We need to cease to see this as just some luxurious expenditure. It is not. These interns have got to feed. Many of them are being thrown out of the houses they are renting today. Many of them have got to walk miles, and some in the night, because they retire from work late in the night. To return, they don't have transport money. So it's important that we begin to facilitate them now. The worry about the doctors, eventually when they have finished their studies and so on, once they are available to do the work, they should be paid as well. So I think that should comfort the concern that we'll be paying them double. No, we pay them now because they're doing the bulk of that work. When they finish their studies and they're available to do the work, we should pay them as well. So this is important. It's not a luxury. Government should cease to see it as a luxury. It's important. Let's pay these people today for the sake of the people that we represent. I thank you.
Thank you.
Doctors at health centers it is. The Semins have defied it. Honorable Speaker, economy is like Rwanda. How can you defy a presidential directive? Pakistan, Indonesia. I think this matter, I find it very serious, and I would actually recommend that you evoke Rule 25 under your mandate as presiding officer to implement this matter unconditionally. Honorable Speaker, there are gaps in hospitals. And of course, when we talk of human resource planning, we are planning our own people so that we even have succession. Serious matter, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, alongside that, the President actually gave a directive to absorb frontline workers, COVID-19 frontline workers. The same ministry declined it. He gave
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I thank the committee for the report. I have 3 observations. One, the issue of interns is a policy and management deficit. One evening, I could not believe my eyes. This can be retrieved from either NTV or UBC. I heard the PS of Minister of Health saying, when the journalist was putting her on spot, why they claim they don't have the right data of interns. I heard this madam saying they wrote the various universities to give them information and they did not what? Provide it to her. I could not believe myself. That is incompetence of the highest order. The issue of the interns is a very serious issue. About the issue raised, Honorable Speaker, about the numbers and affordability, this is also a policy issue. For example, the private students, their fees should be indicative of their costs of internship, the private students. This also calls for a review of the higher institution loan scheme. I actually had come up with a motion which I provided to the Speaker's office, and that motion did not come to see the order paper about higher education financing. The other issue I want to raise, honorable colleagues, I just want you to get my story.
Honorable, unfortunately, we don't have time for your story, but we've gotten time for your very good submission. I think the record won't sound good when we have a very clear indictment on ourselves. You cannot convince me that pay an intern because the doctors we pay don't do their work. Then someone should explain that there is no supervision. Yes, because the doctors are supposed to support interns also. Interns are supposed to learn from doctors. Otherwise, if you're taking it as if now when interns come, okay, then I run away, the doctors go to their private clinic. It means there is a problem. And that's why there was also an increment on the salaries of doctors to address that. But I'm sure the Minister for Health will give an opportunity to respond to these issues. To me, it's a very big point of concern. I had picked on Mede.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I feel, Honorable Speaker, we need to speak truth to our health sector. Beside the...
Colleagues, you don't need it to reach anywhere near me to get the chance to speak. Don't mind, I will pick you. Okay?
Honorable Speaker, apart from...
No. I monitor you how you move and what you talk when you're...
Apart from the interns, Honorable Speaker, if you visited our major hospitals today, most times you'll find that our senior specialists, our doctors in these hospitals are either absent or present for just very few hours. Simply because we have not had a clarity of our policy when we pay these doctors, how much time are they supposed to accord Ugandans on in government facilities? So what happens is they run most times to their private clinics, leaving a lot of work to interns that we facilitate to be in these hospitals. So this makes it a non-questionable issue that we should facilitate interns to stand in these facilities. Second, Honorable Speaker, I feel we need to fault the Minister of Health. In this current electronic era, in this digital era, how do you fail to set up a database to communicate to interns that you know are going to eat on a consolidated fund? I think this is negligence of duty. We need to fault the Ministry of Health. There should be communication. When there is delay, communication should be made to them. Other than that, we have the current situation where we have anxious young people who feel neglected by the government they intend to serve. Lastly, Honorable Speaker, I feel that the Ministry of Health again failed to predict and manage the numbers. On the question of sustainability, government should be able to draw a particular number of interns that they can manage, make the entry competitive, such that the ones that qualify under that competitive nature qualify and the other avenues be created, for example, in private facilities. And who don't qualify go ahead and do internship. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Now,
Honorable Speaker, I thank the committee for the work well done. Right Honorable Speaker, the issue of medical interns should be a priority. In most cases, when we go to the hospitals, the doctors, the special doctors work in shifts. And you find that when you go mostly at night, it is the medical interns that you find. So, Right Honorable Speaker, this issue shouldn't be undermined. The government should prioritize it because the services they render, most times are equivalent to the services that the special doctors render, and they are simply called in emergencies. So the government should take this as a priority and provide the monies needed to pay the medical interns, and they should communicate clearly because the communications are so diverse. Today the ministry is communicating that the rich parents, you can apply for medical internship, and the poor kids do not have an opportunity. So please come up with clear communication as to when internship is to begin, and the money should be provided as soon as possible because we are in a crisis. Thank you.
thank you. Now, the most important aspect and the most painful is that these are people who have studied. They can't do anything in society until they do internship. Okay? That's what is very painful. They are loitering around, they are crying around, they can't do anything. So maybe someone was trying to be innovative, to say those ones who can afford should be allowed to go and do, okay? But that's the most painful bit of it. They are like as if they are not educated, because they cannot be allowed to do. Yes, I had already picked, the question I was asking was sustainability. I'm not saying no one should be paid. I'm looking at the issue of sustainability. The day you reach 5,000 doctors, will you be able to pay that much? So that's a question for you, honorable colleagues, all of us as leaders, to look into, okay? Yeah. So I had already picked Chotera.